We continue to follow breaking news from overnight. A taxi driver was found shot and killed in Panama Park. The death follows a drive-by shooting on Friday night that left 22-month-old Aiden McClendon dead. Investigators believe the shooting was gang-related. They say the toddler's mother and grandmother were in the car at the time. Police don't believe they were the intended targets. The child's death marks 4 deadly drive-by shootings in the city last week alone. Our News 4 Jax crime and safety analyst Gil Smith is joining us this morning with some perspective on this. Gil, good morning.
Good morning.
And first, we want to begin by talking about what happened to this cab driver. Cases like this really just difficult to investigate. What do you think investigators are going to be looking at?
Well, in this particular case, they're going to try to figure out how it happened. And to some degree, they can tell that by the shell casings. If there are shell casings inside the cab, then they'll know that person may have been a passenger. If they're on the ground outside, then maybe he's either walking by or may have been inside a car and drove by and shot this person. They can also tell if it might have been a robbery, depending on how much cash is on the cab driver.
This isn't the first time a cab driver has been shot and killed in our area. Is there anything that cab drivers can do to make themselves less of a target?
Well, there are just certain inherent dangers in certain jobs, and being a cab driver has always been a dangerous job. Now, I know with certain cab companies, they'll have like a metal barrier between the passenger and the driver. That could cut down on some of that. Now, with the new Uber drivers, they get a profile of the person that they're picking up, so they'll have information on this person. Also, possibly having some type of surveillance cameras possibly inside the cab. That's an added expense, but that may cut down on some of the violence.
I want to talk about this case that really is just impacted the community so much. We're talking about the shooting death of this 22-month-old. Investigators say he was in a car with his mother and grandmother. They don't believe anyone in the car was an intended target. They say it was gang-related. Why are drive-bys so difficult to investigate?
Well, drive-bys can be difficult because you may not have a lot of physical evidence there at the scene. And it happens so quickly. So it's not like the person had been there for a while. People may have been able to get a good visual on this person to see who it is because they come by so quickly. And at night, it's even more difficult to get vehicle information, see who was driving the car, the type of car that was driven, because colors of vehicles kind of mix in at night. It's hard to get a good description. So that's what makes especially nighttime drive-bys so difficult.
The mayor announcing a lot of money for investigations to go forward. He wants 30,000 man-hours on the street. Also, he's announcing $1 million in overtime for JSO officers. Do you think that will help?
Well, that overtime will enable officers to have more time to go out into the streets and investigate, you know, to turn up the bushes to see what they can find. Talking to people just gives them more investigative hours and try to find a way to communicate more with the community to try to find out who committed these crimes. It's not just for the Aiden McClendon crime, but to try to help solve these crimes for some of the other murders also.
And the Aiden McClendon case happened so close to the time of some other drive-by shootings in the city. Is there any possibility they could be connected, or how would police look into that?
Well, they'll look and see how each one happened. It doesn't appear that they were all connected, because they were in different parts of town, different circumstances with the shootings. But they'll look at that. They know that some of them are gang-related, like the Aiden McClendon, they know is gang-related. But that's all determined by how much information they get from people and how many people actually come forward with useful information.
And the community is so important to helping solve these crimes.
Oh, extremely important. It's, because people talk, and they know that that someone has been talking. People have been talking. Now, people commit these crimes in many cases because they know if someone does see them, that the public more than likely will not tell, they will not report it. So sometimes they may become reckless because there's a fear that's gripping the community. So sometimes they get careless, and sometimes they go out and do more. That may be why we're seeing such an increase. We're at 9 homicides this time. Last year, we're at 15 now. People become more comfortable if they feel that they're not going to be caught.
Gil Smith, thank you so much for joining us this morning with your perspective, and you can stay with The Morning Show and news4jax.com. We will continue to follow the latest in the murder of the taxi driver and the shooting death of Aiden McClendon. You can also get updates on our mobile app. Just search WJXT in the App Store.